Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Yosenju Yugioh deck profile for post Rising Rampage. Wanted to do an update to the deck. It's been quite a while since I've done a Yosenju deck profile, but we received a good amount of support for the Yosenju deck in the latest official booster pack, Rising Rampage. A lot of support that also makes the Pendulum variant of the deck much more playable, and also I find it to be one of the more fun versions of the deck, so I decided to do a deck profile on that version. If you want to see a control version of the Yosenju deck, I might do one of those later on down the road, focusing more on the level 4s, but it works very, very well with just Pendulum summoning out the different level 4 Yosenju monsters, then also using the different Pendulum monsters for a bunch of different effects as well for the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Yosenju monsters, I run 3 Yosenju, 1. The Yosenju, 1, 2, and 3 all have the different effect. When it is normal summon, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Yosenju monster from your hand except Yosenju, 1. If you control another Yosenju monster, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. This effect can only be used once while this card is face-up on the field, and during the end phase, if this card is normal summon, return it to the hand. So it has the return effect if you normal summon this card, but if you Pendulum summon, 1 out, it remains on the field, so remember that with this card. I like to run 3 of it just for the bounce effect and just for the consecutive plays you can do if you don't have your Pendulum scales to summon this card out to the field. So very, very useful for that play especially. I decided to only run 2 Yosenju, 2. It has the effect when normal summon to immediately after its effect resolves, normal summon 1 Yosenju monster from your hand except Yosenju, 2. And this card can attack your opponent directly, but when it does use this effect, the battle damage is halved. And during the end phase, if this card is normal summon, this turn return it to the hand. So it only has the attack directly damage, which you can quickly make use of against your opponent, which is why I only decided to run 2 of it, where 1 and 3 have more search and bounce effects, which are a little more useful against your opponent. The 900, not effect damage, even it's battle damage, just have against your opponent does come in handy, but I would say not as consistently as the other 2 effects, which is why I decided to keep 3 Yosenju, 3 in the deck, just for the same normal summon effect. But when a Yosenju monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Yosenju card from your deck to your hand, except 3. Now it's just much easier to clear your opponent's field. You don't have to rely solely on the 2 direct damage as much for your cards, but I decided to leave the 3, 3 in here for that search, since most of the time you can still hit your opponent with the Pendulum variant for some pretty big battle damage. And then for some of our new Yosenju monsters, I am running 2 Yosenju Izna. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summon this turn, return it to the hand. You can only use each of the following effects of Izna once per turn. You can discard this card. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a Yosenju monster is normal or special summon. If you control another Yosenju monster, you can draw 1 card. So the draw power definitely does come in handy for the normal summon, but the discard also is a big plus, just so you can have some big plays with your Pendulum monsters against your opponent, and then not have to worry about your opponent activating anything against them. It only has 800 attack, so normal summon wise it doesn't help as much itself, but you can still use it for extra deck plays, being that it's a level 4 along with all the other different Yosenju monsters, so you have that option available to you with the deck. And I also run 2 of the new Yosenju Sabu. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is normal summon, return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of Sabu once per turn. If this card is normal summon, you control another Yosenju. You can add 1 Yosenju Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, which helps extend the Pendulum plays especially. And you could target 1 Yosenju card you control, place 1 Dizzy Winds or Yosenju Winds or Yosenju Whirlwind from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. And if you do, shuffle the targeted card into the deck. So just more search options with those other ones, but like I said, I prefer just the first search effect off the Pendulum, since we're going for a big Pendulum play, which we'll get to in just a bit in the deck after the effect monsters for your cards. And I also run 2 Sujik, just for an additional boost by discarding this card from the hand to boost up your Yosenju plays. If you didn't want to run Sujik, you could try bumping up Izna and Sabu to additional numbers if you take out Sujiks for additional cards in the deck. But I like it still just as that 1 of 2 of the card in the deck, so you can just have that discard play. Plus, it's also searchable with some of the other Yosenju cards for that option when you need to get around some big boss monsters against your opponent. And I also run 1 Yosenju Misak, since it is a Pendulum variant. It has some use when it's Pendulum summoned to target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, and during the end phase if it was special summon, return it to the hand. So then you can reuse it again for your Pendulum plays to re-Pendulum summon it again onto the field. And then for the Yosenju Pendulum monsters, I am running 3 of the new Yosenju Yugioh, I believe is how you pronounce it. You can, and the pendulum scale is a scale 3. You can target 1 Yosenju card in your pendulum zone for the rest of this turn. Its pendulum scale becomes 11. So just being able to target that and make it 11 is a big help, especially. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except Yosenju monsters, even if this card leaves the field. And during the end phase, return this card to the hand. You can only use each effect of Yosenju Yugioh once per turn. So the pendulum adjustment is a big key play, especially with this card, since it is a level 10 monster. You want that scale 11. So if you have other ones in the hand, to pendulum summon it out. And its monster effect cannot be special summoned except by pendulum summon. If this card is normal or special summoned, you could target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand, and each time a card or cards on the field is returned to the hand or main deck by a card effect while this card is on the field, all Yosenju monsters you currently control gain 500 attack. And once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, return it to the hand. So you have the bounce power with this card as well. I like it for the 3F, so you can have the scale set up and also the monster to pendulum summon out to the field. But the biggest thing is also just being able to, adjust the pendulum scales so we can make some of our other ones higher on the field. I also am running 1 Yosenju dieback, just the 1 of this card. It's a scale 7, but like I said, you can always bump up its scale with Yugioh on the field as well, so there's no worry for that. And when a Yosenju monster you control declares an attack, you can have this attacking monster gain 300 attack until the end of battle phase. It's not so much used for the pendulum scale, but more for the cannot be special summon except by pendulum summoning, and this card's pendulum summon cannot be negated. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target up to 2 cards on the field, return them to the hand, and once per turn during the end phase, if it was special summon, return it to the hand. Works very, very well with Yugioh having both cards on the field, giving you a lot of bounce options against your opponent and their cards. And then for the rest of the scales, I run 2 Yosenju Shinshu R and 2 Yosenju Shinshu L. With this one, it works very, very well with Orochi Channeling, which we run, which sets up pendulum scales, just having more options for the scales as well in the deck to use against your opponent. And Shinshu L can also help in the pendulum scale to protect your own monsters. If they would be destroyed, you can destroy this card instead. And Shinshu R just having another adjusting pendulum effect. And when both of them are normal summon, you can change them to defense. And then this one also protects them from battle. And also R has the same defense power as well as a monster. But I run 2 of each just so you have some consistency with Orochi Channeling to make sure the card still goes off and you have enough pendulums to work for your pendulum summonings. And that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, I run 2 Yosenju Training Grounds. This continuous spell works with just having every time a Yosenju monster is normal or special summon, giving you Yosen counters on them, and then being able to get rid of counters to either bump up your Yosenju cards for power, or to add a Yosenju card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So you have search options and power depending on what you need with this card. I also run 2 Yosenju Wind Worship, a quick play spell. If you control 3 or more Yosenju monsters with different card names, return as many Yosenju monster cards you control to the hand as possible. Then you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. You can only activate 1 Yosenju Wind Worship per turn. So they're going to be bounced back but to the hand most of the time anyway. So having Wind Worship as an option to bounce back cards for additional draw power depending on what's in your hand. You can also set up cards on the field to make sure you get the draw power as well, which is a definite help with a lot of cards. I really do love that it is a quick play, so it works very, very well after your Yosenju attacks. And I also run the 2 Yosenju Orochi Channeling. If you control no monsters, activate one of the following effects. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon except Yosenju monsters, but you have a lot of powerhouse monsters in the deck, so it's not too big of a worry. You can add 1 level 5 or higher Yosenju monster from your deck to your hand, or you can place 1 Yosenju Shinshu L and 1 Yosenju Shinshu R from your deck into your pendulum zones, but destroy them during the end phase. It just gives you the big boss monster, if you need that, or sets up both the scales like it shows on the card, which is a definite help, giving it so you don't have to invest too many of your hand cards in your pendulum scales as well. And lastly, a good amount of the Yosenju monsters are searchable with Tenki, so I'm running 3 Tenki as well, just for the additional assists, grabbing ones you need, and then also just being able to remain on the field for power-ups to those Yosenju monsters. And then for the traps, I run 3 Yosenju's Secret Move. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control at least 1 Yosenju card and all face-up monsters you control are Yosenju monsters, negate the activation and destroy that card. So you're limited to what you can summon a lot with this deck, but being able to rely on a counter trap like Secret Move definitely does help against your opponent. And I also run 3 Yosenju Sword Sting with this one. If you control no monsters, reveal up to 2 Yosenju monsters with different card names in your hand, and then target the same number of face-up cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. You can only activate 1 Yosenju Sword Sting per turn. So just when they return to the hand, this card is a big benefit for that, being able to then take care of a lot of cards your opponent may have, along with the Pendulum Summons you all might have already done with Hitote and Dieback on the field. And then to wrap up the traps, I run 2 Gozen Match. Just being able to control 1 attribute is not really a problem with this deck, since all the Yosenju monsters are wind. So very, very useful there for sure. And then that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 1 Wind, the Wind Charmer, the new familiar we have for the deck. Just needing 2 monsters, including a Wind with the arrows. Definitely does come in handy with the deck. Also 2 Great Fly, just for additional boosts if you need for your Wind monsters. And then for additional generic links, I run 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and the 1 Borreload Dragon. If you want, you can even try Boral Sword instead for the multiple attacks, plus it is very easy to get a good number of monsters out on the field. And then for the Exceed monsters, I run 2 Lightning Chidori. Once again, if you can't Pendulum Summon and you just consecutively normal summon out the Yosenjus, then you can overlay them into powerful Exceeds like Lightning Chidori, which I like to run 2 of, just so you can have its consistent bounce effect. And also 1 Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon for the attack directly. The 2000 attack is a big help, especially. And also 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Castel, 1 Exiton Knight, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Gaga Cowboy to finish off the extra deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.